online video social. Please welcome Jimmy.
It's there. Thank you. And welcome to all of you. I guess a lot of you guys was trying to go and see all the agencies last night and have some drinks. But that's how it is to have the early slot. Not everyone is here yet, but at least the ones that are here, I hope I can entertain you with some interesting insights in, about online video. What I'm going to talk about today is, what makes video social and why is video important for the communication plans that we are making for our clients these days. The title, as you can see, these are the things that I'm going to take you through today. And as Alison was so kind to say, we're going to try to take some questions at the end. So I'm going to try to do this in 30 minutes, which means I'm already late because I have 40 slides. So I'm going to press a lot on my button. I'm going to talk about how to create social content, a bit about planning for sharing, optimizing content from social web, and of course interactivity, which is one of the key things in this space. So really, before I get into that, I think it'd be interesting just to kind of have a quick look. And I know it's a complicated slide, this one, but it also has some nice colors and some nice information. It actually tells you that over the last 10 years, video now makes up, 51% of all internet traffic. So that's 51%. That kind of tells us that something is going on with this phenomenon, video. Another thing that is becoming evident is that Facebook is a great social platform, but Facebook is not just a social platform anymore. It's also a platform where there's a lot of video sharing happening, a lot of other things that are happening, but right now I'm obviously focusing on the video component. Not only are people watching video across the Facebook platform, they're also spending a lot of time with it. They're spending a lot of time on referring, on rating, on doing all these kind of stuff. So actually, during this last year, Facebook actually came from, at least from our perspective, as a distribution company, it came out of nothing in terms of video. It came with very low numbers to actually being the de facto, platform within video. And you need to have Facebook in your plans these days if you really want to succeed with your video strategy. So, that was kind of a bit of the facts, why video is interesting, what's happening across some of the key platforms. And that kind of takes me into what I just started off with. At the end of the day, I guess most of you guys are creative. And the good news for you guys is that there is an abundance of opportunities within this space. It's very much still about the content. I think the new generation, though, have to just have a better understanding how we make it more open-ended, how we make it more engaging for consumers. But it's very much about the concept. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that component because it's as it has always been. It's just new challenges within that. Planning, though, is a key component that you guys need to consider when you're doing these branded content strategies, video strategies, because a lot of people have still to this day have the thinking that I have this great piece of content, I'm just going to upload it to YouTube, and we're going to have millions and millions of views. It's not happening anymore unless we have a substantial distribution strategy behind it. And if you have that, and then on top of that have good content, you will get media, which is free media. Of course, optimization is important. How to get into Facebook, how to use it, how to use other social tools to amplify your campaigns is important. And then last but not least, it is kind of online and it is interactive. So how could we, with video, use those interactive components? Content, as I said, content, that's really most of you guys, that's what you know. And we're not a company that produces content, so So basically, I'm just saying what I see out there and kind of what I think we should learn from. You know, one of the things that is fantastic with content, I think, is that when you create really good and outstanding material or content, you immediately know. You know, it's a 24/7 research lab out there. You have the best ever focus groups you've ever had. This is a campaign we did with Hyundai leading up to the World Cup. If you haven't seen it, it's a guy called Nick Vujicic, which is handicapped, and he's traveling the world telling about his experience around football. And actually, I thought when I saw the content originally, I thought it's very original, but it's not very strong. And you know, I couldn't be more wrong when I see what has happened with this campaign, having run it over the World Cup. You know, the kind of comments that you can extract from a piece of content like this, and also the engagement that people had with content like this is incredible. And if you want to know more, you know, go out and look for the video at YouTube. But again, you know, the key thing here is you know, there's so much data, there's so much thing that can help you reshape the way you think content and what you do with content. So really, you know, what is it that's changing? You know, I'm not saying anything here that you're probably not aware of already, but you know, if you think about it, you know, and it's not only for online video. This is online video. I think is kind of the beginning of the journey. Because if you think, you know, everything is going to be digital. TV is already digital somewhere. In Germany, not so much yet, but everything is going to be digital. When things are digital, we have to think about how the formats, what is it we do, how can we engage consumers. Because with digital, you can opt out. You can skip the ad block, and the same with the TV, of course. And as we can see, of course, TV is very passive, whereas if we really do it well, online video and digital things, you know, can be truly interactive and engaging. And of course, you know, that's what we're aiming for. That's what should be kind of the end to the things we're doing. So I think, you know, one of the key things with online video, is to stop thinking that you can just take any TV commercial and put it online and people will think it's fantastic. Because it's not. You know, a lot of the stuff that we see out there that has just been put out because it was a fantastic TV commercial get a lot of bad buzz. You know, there's a lot of people that are slam dunking that kind of material. You know, so if you really want to be genuine, and if you really want to do something that helps the brand in the online space with video, you need to do something that's bespoke. You need to do something that has a narrative. You know, I think, and that's great. You know, you guys are creative. We're back to the narrative. The narrative is the whole thing these days. It's not just about, you know, a 30-second product message. It can be that, but it's not going to fare very well in this online space. So you need to kind of think beyond that, think what it is that can trick your audience, your consumers, and it's more than a strong product message. Being in Germany, I think, you know, we need to talk at least about one German brands that have done a good job. I'm sure you've all seen the Liverpool Street dance, which was quite successful. So I'm not going to show you that, but I'm going to show you the follow-up because I think that's interesting. That they actually took it to the next level. That was really not worth looking at. Instead of wasting your time on that, I'm just going to skip that and show some other video stuff later. The reason why I think it's interesting is that, you know, when T-Mobile first came into this, you thought, that was kind of interesting that they did that. But actually, I think the interesting part here for me is that their commitment to it. You know, so it's not just a one-off. Actually, they've proven now several times that they think, you know, this is a way for them to get out there and get consumers kind of involved in their brand. So I think, at the end of the day, I think when you start to do these kind of things, is this just a one-off, or is it something that you really thought through, and is it something that's sustainable? And the T-Mobile, it's been a very successful way of kind of re-engaging the audience in an online space. They've had a lot of success doing that, and I think it was a quite clever way of doing an online campaign. Is it a Cannes winner? No, I don't think so. But everything that we see here doesn't have to be a Cannes winner. There's good creative that's bespoke for that exact company, and I think this is kind of one of the examples of that. And as you can see, if number of views on YouTube is a parameter that we kind of are evaluating these kind of things on, they've been very successful. And also I was just highlighting the three key videos that they've done. But they've done a lot of video content over the last 2 years. So that's the other thing that you have to keep in mind when you embark on a journey like this, is that if you really want to keep your audience engaged, you need to be quite productive. You need to be able to release content on a pretty fast basis. Otherwise, it's going to die out. The average piece of content, the lifetime of that is not more than a month. And some of it even shorter. It's a bit like a piece of news. As soon as it was kind of in yesterday's paper, it's not really interesting today. And I think that's the thinking we need to start to apply to some of these things. I think the good thing with this is, of course, done in the right way. Video is obviously not as expensive to produce than a TV commercial. Yes, there are people that like to still spend millions of euros to create an online video, but I don't think that's sustainable. I think we still need to have a lot of quality in online video, but we need to kind of spread it over more. We need to focus on, as I said before, the narrative. Because if we do that, if we focus on the narrative, if we get a broader strategy behind it, guys like T-Mobile shows us that actually there's a lot of engagement, there's a lot of value in that approach. The planning component, as I said, of course, is also quite important. Why is Facebook suddenly such an important platform? It's of course important because as we know from traditional channels, it's quite useful when people kind of refer things to you, and if Facebook is one thing, it is kind of a fantastic place for referrals. So obviously, that kind of helps create a lot of momentum for your brand if you do it in the right way. We talk a lot about Facebook, and Facebook is important, YouTube is important, but those guys are still only the tip of the iceberg. Basically what you need to think about, if you're Nike and you're launching a new running shoe and you want to kind of create some attention around that, you need to find out, where do I find the runners? The runners are not necessarily here. There will be some communities on Facebook, there will be some brand channels on YouTube, but the majority of the runners will be in the small sites with 5,000 monthly visitors, and those sites, also key. It's key to get across those sites. That's why I talk about the planning. This is not about 3 or 4 or 5 sites. This is about hundreds of sites if you want contextuality, if you want relevance. And as you can see here, in terms of overall traffic, the long tail still constitutes the majority of the video views. So even though we think that the majority of the video is YouTube, yeah, YouTube is a huge destination. It is, and I would not do a video journey today without having YouTube there in some shape or form. But it's not where it starts and ends. It's a player like a lot of other players. Targeting, of course, it's at the end of the day, like any other medium. This channel is starting to grow up. So we start to have a lot of data. We start to have a lot of things that can help us reach the right audience in the best possible way. So targeting, is what foreigners are saying are important, but that's also one of the things that with digital technology and with tracking technology, these days you are able to do a lot with those things. In terms of coordinating how you launch campaigns, I think obviously it's not like one fits all. It really depends on what you do. There's situations where it works pretty well together with TV. You'll see kind of an uplift on your campaign if you run it in parallel with TV, because often you reach a different audience online than you reach with TV. Sometimes it's a better channel for pre-launching if you kind of get out to a small audience in the online and then kind of kick it off with TV. So to this day, actually, a lot of the big campaigns we see, they still need TV. So I'm not standing up here saying that TV is going to go away. TV is not going to go away. TV has some challenges that they need to cope with. But TV is still there for reach. We still need reach, and that's one of the things that we're not struggling with because we're getting there, but reach is one of the difficult things when we talk target views. We can create a lot of bulk views across YouTube with video, but if you really want targeted views and reach, that's where online video needs, at least at this stage, they still need some other channels to work really well. I'm going to show you another example, and hopefully the quality of this is better. Run them again. Again, it's not a kind of winner, but again, I'm showing you stuff that I think are different, and because it's different, it is proved to work well.
Recently, a Frenchman went to an English town to investigate a controversial theory. I want to show you a very interesting statistic. Look at this. There is something wrong here. What do you do for fun? There is no fun. It's fun. What does it matter? Who owns a car? Not that. You need to smile more. What's the matter with you people of just my goal is to figure out the correlation between the presence of a Maymann and joie de vivre in the village. Can a car change a town? How do you feel inside of you? Much prefer well, much prefer younger yet. What make is it?
I'm not standing here saying that all of you should suddenly go handheld and introduce a character and go out and do different things. We've obviously seen a lot of that. What I am saying though is that it's a different way of approaching it, and actually it's having that narrative is proving very successful. And again, what I showed you here is just one component of a bigger campaign that had TV, it had online video, it had a lot of SOE search. So it's kind of, again, it's one of the pillars. It's an important pillar. But the key thing, again, really is the narrative. And as you can see here at the top, they created a lot of hours of content. And a lot of it is not appropriate for kind of just launching it because it's too long, it's not very engaging. But, the key sequences are engaging and actually has been quite successful. There's been a place for this. There's people that actually think this is fun and are following it and like Henri. But again, a different approach, a content approach, an approach with a narrative is proving to work pretty well in this space. Optimization. Another thing that's key in this space, and when I talk about optimization, I fully understand that I'm moving into a more technical space, so bear with me. But I think it's important when you guys sit and think about the creative concept you're creating, things to keep in mind, because hopefully it can help you create something that's working a bit better. When I talk online video, the key thing, the destination suddenly is not a big website, that we've created. It's not, if we again use Nike as the example, it's not a Nike website. It's a video player, and that video player is distributed across the different platforms. So suddenly the video player becomes your, medium. That's where you can play. And actually, what you should do is try to optimize that experience. Wherever the consumer comes across that player and your experience, they need to want to engage with it, because otherwise you're not getting the brand message across. So in terms of optimizing the whole player experience, there's some things you can do with that in terms of animated previews, because that will increase the attention. One thing I have to tell you there is that, the reason why video is working right now, I think, is because it's not like when you buy banners. When you get on any given page, banners will just start to run, there'll be music, there'll be all kinds of things happening out there. If you do online video right, and you will buy a campaign on cost per click. So basically you want people to actually opt in. You want them to click, because if they're not clicking, you don't have their attention. So you don't want to kind of just stop the video player. There will be someone that will sell you that, which is an autoplay. So you get on a page and immediately the video is played, but you're not really paying attention as a consumer. So what I'm saying is, I think that model is also changing. It's changing to a model where you only want to pay for actually attention, for engagement. People need to do something. So those are some of the key things in terms of the player. In terms of Facebook, of course, the whole social distribution component, I'm going to come back to that in a second. I'm going to deep a bit into that. And then, as I just mentioned briefly, the socialization of the player. So as I just talked about the player, one of the things that has worked pretty well, and I have some data for you in a second, is that, yes, we want people to click on that button to kind of get in and get that branded experience for Renault or for T-Mobile, but we don't want to force them. They need to do it by own free will. And one of the things that worked well is that over the last 5 years, we've always had a static picture behind that play button. So now actually you can have a moving picture, an animated picture, so something, just a few pixels spinning around, and actually that will improve the results a lot. As you can see here, click to play, which is the 188% increase. So, just small tweaks like this, again, it's boring technology, but it will help your campaign do a hell of a lot better. So those are kind of some of the small things that you can keep in mind when you sit there and video is one of the channels you need to address. Video action rate means basically, that not only are consumers watching your video, but they're actually doing more than watching your video. So are they sharing it? Are they rating it? Those kind of things. Are they buzzing about it? And of course, the way to do that is, of course, implement the social bookmarks, but do it in a clever way. Again, at least in these early days of online video, so far it's not considered an intrusive medium. Most mediums are pretty intrusive, and online video will get to that point as well. But still, it's still virgin territory. So actually, you need to think what it is you're doing, so you're not destroying that experience for the consumer. An interesting thing when we talk about video action rate, really, before we went into this year, we didn't really consider Facebook as interesting because a lot of other things was happening on Facebook, but video was not the thing that was happening. But just since Facebook Lite was released, the amount of actions, so basically people doing something beyond the view, when Facebook is part of the plan, as you can see, have gone from 0.5% to 2%. So really, an amazing improvement, and that just goes to prove that it's an important social platform to have on your plan. So basically, in terms of sharing, so everyone talks about, okay, how do I get my campaign to go viral? At the end of the day, these days, first of all, you need to buy some media, you need to have a good plan, but then you also need to have Facebook in there, and that's what this proves. If you don't have Facebook in there, it's right now it's 60% of all actions happening after the video view is happening on Facebook. So it's a pretty important component for your online plan in some shape or form. So how are you getting in there? The social media distribution. And that's of course where we need companies to help you, because it's not just about creating a fan page. Creating a fan page will not bring you there. You need basically to have someone that understands how to tap into Facebook, how to get your content posted, how to get people interested in it. So basically it's a distribution approach, just like it's a distribution approach to get people or get the Nike content to the running community with 5,000 people. It's the same you need across Facebook. You need long tail for overall publishing, and you need a Facebook strategy for kind of improving your video action rates. And this is just a very, very fast way of how we are doing it. We work with Facebook. We have our player, our technology is approved by Facebook, so we can distribute with them. And basically, as you can see here, it's a way of getting the player into the whole ecosystem to get those likings, to get those referrals. And if you're not part of that ecosystem, it's going to be very difficult because, as I said, the fan page, in some cases the fan page can do the job if it's really outstanding, but in most cases it's not. So you need to have something that's more sophisticated than that. An example with Sims, so Sims actually have a group with more than 400,000 followers, and I think at the end of the day, last year everything was about how many views can we, that's the KPI, how many views can we create. It seems that back end of this year, next year is going to be how many members can I as a brand get on Facebook. And I think it's really not about the amount of members, because it's more about kind of what are these members doing. But it's definitely one of the KPIs that you will hear out there from a lot of the big brands, is that can you help me improve the amount of Facebook members. And of course, if you do it right, you can help them do that. But of course, they need to start thinking about what are they doing with those Facebook members, because getting 500,000 there and then doing nothing with them for the rest of the year is probably not the smartest thing to do. Interactivity, as we just talked about, interactivity is also something that promotes action. We've again done some studies. So when the video is static, compared to when they're interactive, you'd have 4 times better results. So the whole interactivity thing is key. And as you can see, it's the same on Facebook. When you have interactivity, action rates are so much better. When I talk about this, just to show what it is, it's as simple as this. This is, if you see behind, it's as simple as this. This gives you 5 times better results. It's just a picture that's changing, and that's it. It starts all over again. Other things that you need to do is that the player, again, as I said, the player is suddenly has become a campaign website, and there's a lot of things you can do with the player. So you have different overlays that you can embed. We also have an interactive player, so actually you could, if it was for Nike's new football shoe, you could stop and click on the football shoe and immediately go to the web shop and customize that shoe, and then go back and have the rest of the video experience. So interactivity is again something that dramatically improves kind of your results with video. And actually, these are just some numbers to prove standard versus interaction. As you can see, the video actions are going through the roof when you're more interactive with the way you're using your player.